Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed the time with friends during lunch. Now, dear audience, we are going to enter into the innovation contest phase. First of all, I would like to say that we are very proud of the incredible response that we have had this second edition, with a large number of applications received, actually more than the ones that we expected. And all of them focused on solving pediatric and maternal needs. So thanks a lot first to all the participants that have been trying and wanted to improve children's life. From all these candidates, we have selected 6 projects that will participate today in the i4Kids Innovation Contest. The 6 projects will present their proposals in a few minutes. But first, we want to look back at what happened with the 6 projects of our last edition. Just a second. If you can pass to the next diapo. Okay, now. The last projects of our last edition. We're happy because last year, and maybe they don't remember, we made a special request to them. We asked them to become role models for the pediatric innovation community and show to the pediatric innovators that innovation is possible, it's profitable, and it's meaningful. And we are very happy to see that they have taken important steps on these directions. For instance, first company, OncoHeroes, has currently established a key partnership with Vall d'Hebron Research Institute for the discovery of development of new therapies for childhood sarcomas. In parallel, another company that presented last year, Gate2Brain, has been awarded with the Spanish Neotech grant and the prestigious Caixa Research Consolidate grant. And following these steps, the Project Lab has received the Caixa Research Validate grant. On the other hand, the Newborn Solution startup was the only Spanish health tech startup awarded with a very competitive European Innovation Council Acceleration grant. So congratulations for this award. And finally, 2 of the startups that presented last year have been raised pre-seed investment from our friends from Ship2B Ventures. So congratulations to Smart Lollipop and Dana Health. The 6 finalists of this project will take the chance of show their innovations to you today, and you will be able to see what they have been working on. And just last time, we asked them to come here not only as contenders, but also as ambassadors of the innovation in pediatrics. So this message is for you. You are not here just to participate in a contest. You are here to inspire innovators and support pediatric ecosystem to become bigger and stronger. So no pressure. But this is still a competition, and we have juicy prizes for the winners, so let's see the money. Today, for the first prize, we have 25,000 euros. For the second prize, we have 15,000 euros, and for the third prize, we have 5,000 euros. And in addition, the first and second winners will receive in-kind legal advice from our collaborator from RCD. And all this has been possible only thanks to our sponsors that have co-financed the prize. So thanks a lot to Fundación Mar, to Roche, to R Laboratories, to ABG Patentes, and to RCD Law Firm. To select the winners, we are accompanied by a great panel of experts, here seated in front of me. The jury for this second edition is composed by Esther Riambau, CEO at Oniria and co-founder of Gate2Brain, Laia Pascual, investment associate at Ship2B Ventures, Pablo Prieto, digital health consultant, and Javier Sánchez, clinical scientist at Philips, and Jordi Cruz, board member of the Rare Disease Spanish Federation. They will evaluate the projects for their impact and their potential to reach the market from all the key perspectives. So thanks a lot to be here today with us. And now that everything has been said, and that everybody has been presented, I'm pleased to start the innovation contest with the first finalist. So for the first finalist, we will talk about decisions. Taking decisions can be difficult. Now, try to imagine that this complex, that these decisions has to be taken in complex situation, like an intensive care unit for newborns. Not easy, right? This is why the next project focuses on developing tools to support decision-making processes in newborn infants. So please give a big applause to Guillermo Martín and his project NeoCardio Predictor.
Hi, you can hear me? Yeah. Hi, I'm Guillermo Martín, and I'm here to present NeoCardio Predictor. Every day in Spain, 3 new children are born extremely premature. That comes to 160 all over the world. 1 of every 3 will have serious circulatory problems, and this will cause them several consequences like brain damage, gut injury, or even death. Right now, indeed, if 2 identical children are born extremely premature, and they are born in different hospitals all around the world, doctors will have different data in different formats, not even similar. They will have different available drugs to admit. They will use even different thresholds to admit them. And they will use different logic. So it could be that one of them receives treatment and the other not. So there are several challenges here. Could we have an homogeneous way of extracting data so it can be used in every part of the world? Can we use a homogeneous logic so it can be used always in the same way for the same situations? Can we create a way of creating a logic that is more effective than the one that we have in every place now? And more important, could we adapt this logic so every case we find in the world, this logic is adapted again? That's why we created NeoCardio Predictor. NeoCardio Predictor should have an homogeneous way of extracting huge amount of data to create this logic, okay, from different oximeters and monitors. It should have an artificial intelligence that can process this amount of data and create always the same logic for the same situations. This logic must be much more effective than the one right now. And it should be adaptive. So every time we find a case, the logic is updated. We've already faced some of these challenges. We've already created data extraction, and it can extract a huge amount of information from different oximeters and monitors in the market. This information is huge. They are more than 120 variables, and they are extracted real time. Apart from that, we've already trained the artificial intelligence. It's been trained with 100 cases from Hospital de la Paz, and it can be adapted to every case that appears in the market. And we've seen that we think, more or less, we can have an improvement of 20% of effectiveness against the logic that is being used right now in Hospital de la Paz. We are currently working on getting more data. The more data we have, the more cases we have, the better the logic is. We are trying to encapsulate that logic in a computer so it can be put, that computer, in every part of the world without no further technical knowledge to execute this logic. And we are trying to get European approval. We are working with a consultant company, and we think that we could have this approval from the European regulator in 4 or 5 years. Apart from that, more than that, we think this product can be profitable. We've been looking for more artificial intelligence competitors, and they are not approaching serious circulatory problems. There are no settlement costs associated because we've already created the logic, And after getting the European approval in 4 or 5 years, we think that just in the first year, we can have a profit of 100,000 euros, taking into account that we only sell 6 licenses. You can think about it. Improving 20,000 children's life per year is the goal. Neocardio Predictor is just a method. Thank you very much from Mari Carmen Bravo, consultant neonatologist at La Paz University Hospital, doctor in medicine and researcher for more than 15 years, and creator of this idea. Juan José Fernández Tebar, data expert, master professor and computer engineer, and myself, that I'm an MBA, entrepreneur, and computer engineer. Thanks a lot.
It's time for the questions.
It's working. Thanks for the presentation. Nice to see. I was wondering how much extrapolate the benefits of this solution to other hospitals far from La Paz, because as far as I understood, you have all the training and all the validation done in La Paz. What is the expected performance in other hospitals?
The problem here, I have to talk here, or I cannot hear. Hello? Here? Yeah. No, what I was trying to say is that to work with other hospitals and try to execute this logic, first of all, we have to do this process for European approval, because right now we are trying that in a trial, but it must be in a process where you compare the selection of one medicine, one drug by the doctor, and by the doctor assisted by this logic. That's why we are doing it with the logic we have right now. And we are working with that consultant company just to do this trial. And once you have this trial, you can execute it in other hospitals. But apart from that, the logic is prepared to be executed in the cloud. And if we have the approvals, it's totally adapted to any hospital in the world.
Guillermo, thanks for the presentation. I have a question regarding the actual use case. So how do you see physicians using this? I mean, you mentioned there is potentially 100 different inputs, and then you're going to produce an output. How is the physician going to use that output and integrate it in clinical practice?
Yes. The problem here is something that is very well documented in the world. When you have this kind of problems that is very complex, and you have this kind of amount of information that is huge, we were talking about 120 variables, and they are extracted real time, you can have ticks of 1 minute. It's almost impossible to be processed by a human brain, you know? When you execute this kind of logic that is artificial intelligence and is proved for some other cases, what it does is just it gives you, without any reason, a result. You have this percentage in this case of applying this drug and having success. Of course, we don't want that logic to execute directly the drug. We want this as an advisor, because there could be something that is not in the model. For example, the doctor can see something outside and he says or she says, come on, we are not going to do this because I know this other variable that is affecting this model. It's just an assistant, you know?
I got it. No, my question was a little bit more directed towards, is that assistant going to be integrated in clinical settings like electronic healthcare?
Our idea is to have one computer. When you have one of these kind of children, you can connect the monitors and the oximeters to the computer, and once you have it connected, you just execute the model. And then you are extracting data, and when it has enough information in several minutes, it's saying you, okay, in this very moment, if you execute this drug, you are going to have this probability of having a success. But it's extracting always a real-time data, you know? I answered your question? Okay, thank you.
Hey, Guillermo. Thanks a lot for your presentation.
Thank you.
Good job, actually. Very good. So I have a question around the business model and your commercial approach. Maybe you can, you
Explain
mentioned
a
some
little bit
numbers. Yeah, maybe you can explain it a little bit more. And also, you're going through licensing, for instance, or
I'm gonna
one-time
explain-
payment.
I'm going to
Thank
explain
you.
it because in 5 minutes I didn't want to say a lot of figures, But we've been thinking about the figures we have right now. Intensive care units, top-level intensive care units. In Spain, we have like 60. All over the world, we have at least 1,400 of intensive care units that they are giving data to improve themselves. So taking into account that and that we are going to approve this model in the entire European Union, we've thought about selling just 6 licenses in the first year. That I think it's something relatively easy, taking into account 60 just in Spain. We don't have the figures about just Europe, but it's just for you to know. With 6 licenses and taking into account other prices that we have for artificial intelligence in neonatology, we think that we can sell them, at least the first evolution, by 45,000 euros or something like that. If we sell 6, we think about that. And I think we've put an expenditure too high, because indeed everything is done. You have everything in the cloud. It's just about paying for the servers or whatever. So it could be even more profitable, or you could adjust the expenditure. I don't know if I've answered you.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe a follow-up question. How are you planning to approach these clinics to buy your product?
This? Sorry?
The clinics, the hospitals.
What we think is, as we have this kind of model where we have 1,400 neonatology intensive care units giving information to improve themselves, but they are giving information without any homogeneous way, we can approach by that kind of association they have. It's called, I think, Diana. By that association, we can approach them, telling them, okay, if you connect here, at least, and you can extract some parts of the problem too, because it could be that you just use the homogeneous way of extracting data, so they can compare the same data. Right now, you have different ways of comparing it with different units, so you can even extract this kind of pieces. It has the project, and use them separately.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any more questions? Then thanks a lot, Guillermo, for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Let's go for the next project. Because when a child has symptoms of pulmonary disease, you want to get whatever medical test is needed. But the use of X-ray and CT scan testing in children are not free of concerns. The next project proposed a great alternative to lung infection detection. So please give a big applause to Aziz Mahdavi and her project Pediatric Glass.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Still awake? Well, in Sano Meditech, we're a team of AI experts trying to transform the way that currently the lung infection diagnosis is being performed by offering AI-empowered clinical decision support systems. So the idea of the idea of lung infection diagnosis by low-risk imagery technique like ultrasound just popped up at the beginning of the COVID, where hospitals were loaded with patients and a need for a quick technology to quickly identify the infection. So lung infections, pulmonary disease and lung infection, among them pneumonia, is one of the leading causes of morbidity and mortality in kids under 5 years old. So guess what? The common practice in diagnosing the pneumonia and other kind of pulmonary diseases like bronchitis and pneumothorax is going through X-rays. Which all we know, despite the recommendations of professional societies, that it is harmful and could be carcinogenic. So what if we could reduce the number of unnecessary X-rays? What if we could avoid them? We offer, at Sana Meditech, we offer a solution that actually we can work on reducing the number of X-rays in pediatrics. So our solution, our intelligent embedded solution, will detect the patterns of the disease in real time from the images of ultrasound and provide a recommendation to the physician. So the software uses sophisticated AI models to detect those patterns which are specific in each category of the infection, and then provide a recommendation to the physician. The physician, on the other hand, using this recommendation and also based on the clinical symptoms of the patient, will decide on further actions. That could be hospitalization, could be antibiotic prescription, etc. So our go-to-market is through hospitals. So basically, we have received interest from the San Juan de Deu Hospital to deploy our intelligence solution in their ER department, where attending a high number of children infected is getting critical. It would be a B2B model with a subscription fee for hospitals. What we offer for the hospitals is enhancement and optimization of their resources, especially in medical imaging department, by reducing the unnecessary X-ray imaging. On the other hand, we're saving GPs' time, general practitioners' time, as it is an easy-to-use solution. We also, not to forget, and more importantly, we also offer children and parents a solution, a better journey to go through their disease without thinking of being exposed, future radiation exposure and complications. So market size, we have evaluated, based on our evaluation, a market size of 198 million euros in Spain and approximately 2.2 in Europe is a market size we've foreseen for our solution. And our competitive advantage is the niche market in pediatrics. So currently, we have no direct competitor in the market working on pediatric area. We know that there are researches have been done in the adult section, but not in pediatric, which has different patterns and different characteristics. This is the roadmap we have for commercialization of the product. We have been working during the past 1.5 years on the basis of our project and also deep learning algorithms. We had the support of Neotech funding during this time. We're working on a seed round of 500K to support and cover the clinical validation costs and also iteration of our clinical software. And in 2024, we are expecting to open another round for covering the pre-commercialization and commercialization activities such as regulatory approval, CE certification, and also closing deal with. So this is us. We are coming from research background, and we're collaborating with Polytechnic University of Catalonia and San Juan de Deu Hospital to support our clinical and scientific aspects of the project. Thank you for your attention.
Time for the jury.
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm starting again, sorry. Okay. So I would like to know, because the imagers, so the systems also produce different images, how sensitive it is to those changes of the images quality or the images type of things from the ultrasound system, and it could be even moved to portable ultrasound system like a tablet device system or something like this.
So the impact of different type of images on our...
Yeah, and also even to move to a portable device that you have. So
yeah. This is the second phase of the project, moving to handheld, because it is another interesting market to go to that. But currently, the algorithm has been able to detect independently of it, if it is coming from a convex kind of ultrasound device or other type of them, and we have proved it so far. So currently, for the type of device that is the image is coming from different device, the algorithm has been able to detect pneumonia, COVID, bronchitis, and pneumothorax. So far, good.
Well, I was also thinking about the manufacturers of Philips,
Yeah.
Siemens.
Yeah, of course.
Also well, Siemens not yet.
Yeah.
But well, all the manufacturers that also provides different types, slightly types different images of all the diagnostic, and how all those changes affect to the final solution.
Yeah, currently we have, we haven't tested all those devices available in the market, obviously, but the one that we have tried to validate our algorithms with and try to train the algorithms with, the final results were not, have not been affected. The variability was not significant. So in that case, we're good. But it's still to be more, we need more data to validate it even more, train the algorithms more to be able to detect those small variabilities, or even, because as far we have a limited knowledge for now of the devices. So whatever, more images we have, we can train the algorithms more and we can improve it better.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. You have talked that your business model is B2B,
Yes.
to C.
Yeah.
And I would like to know if you have thought about you have talked about hospitals that are going to be your clients, but I don't know if you have thought about the primary medical assistants, and if your product can be offered across them.
Of course, we have thought about it because if you think of pediatrician, for example, in primary care, you think that there are a lot of parents going first not to the hospitals in case of ER, emergency rooms, but going to their pediatrician or their primary care point of contact. So that's another. It was very difficult to put all of these in the. But when we are talking about market size, we have considered pediatrician, we have considered clinics, ERs, and other. Neural. The departments, different departments that uses this technique. So the market size is not just limited to this one, and we have considered that because that's actually another point of care, and like ER. So when the first places that you're going to diagnose is there. So that's a good point, and we have considered that in the market size. We have thinking.
We have time for more questions if you want.
Yeah, I do have one, yeah. I think, congratulations, it's very exciting that you're already on pilots, right?
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit more on the pilot that you're doing now, which outcomes are you measuring, and how is that going to help you develop your technology further?
Well, I answer your question until my knowledge, and then if it is not satisfying, I invite my colleague to come and explain it better, because that's a bit more technical than my knowledge. So currently we have been running the data with the data available. So we have done training and validating with the data available. We're working closely with medical imaging department and emergency department of San Juan de Dios Hospital since we have collected data from patients, children, since January 2021, and we're because the data has to go to process of anonymization and all that, ethical committees and et cetera. So now we will have the data to train it more with the patient. So the pilot is on that. We are going to, after this phase, we are going to scale it up more with data from other devices and perhaps other hospitals. But if you need more information, I invite Hessam to respond. If I responded to you.
Yeah, I was wondering if you also get, you collect the data, of course, I think in parallel to the current standard of care that they are measuring right now. Do you get the validation as well in this pilot?
Of course. The data should be labeled and by a physician. And the diagnosis should be there, and we collect it. So this is a comparison, obviously. So we are trying to validate the data based on the decision of the diagnosis of the system and the diagnosis of the doctor.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Any more? Perfect.
Thank
Thanks
you.
Hadi, for your project.
Thank you.
And we will move to the third project. A bird's nest is synonym for security, care, comfort, and life. The next project aims to bring these concepts to hospitalized preterm newborns through the combination of medicine, design, and engineering. So please give a warm applause to Eva Diaz and her project, Nido.
And in the table?
Your table.
Okay. A bit small, eh? And this is small, eh?
May I help you?
A ver. Sorry, but
This is quite a setup.
I have forgotten that. I thought that there was like a table. Okay. Let's see. More or less.
No children was harmed in this experiment.
It's not crying. Okay, this one here. This one. Okay. So, do you know that 5 million babies are born premature every year? The premature babies have some emotional and physical weakness, and in this moment, the professional team that is solving this problem, and they are using a methodology, a care that is about containment, positioning, maternal bond, and stimulation. So, what is currently happening in the hospital? This is the current solution that the nurses themselves using to solve the specific needs and all the problems that the premature have in these moments in the intensive care units. So the proposal is a system. It's a sensory stimulation system and containment system for premature newborns that standardize a medical method and improve physical and emotional weakness through ergonomics and sensuality and helping the intervention of the professional team. Nido is a modular product, so it's made up of different modules that are designed for the specific needs of the premature babies and that are designed for the specific needs of the nurses. You can see here in this picture how the nurse is interacting with the premature baby and how it's positioning inside the nest the baby from a 2D product through a 3D product. Also, it's super important in the product that is adjustable because that you know the premature baby have different dimensions. And this is a super problem now because the nurses can't adjust the nest. So we have designed a specific module that you can adjust the dimensions to each premature baby. Also, we have like a specific data inside the product. Here you can see the front part. Okay, that we can have a specific access for the part of the head. For example, if you have to do a cerebral test or something like this, you are not moving all the time the baby, so you are moving only the part that you need. In the same line, we have designed all the shapes of the product, thinking in the baby and in the nurses. So, for example, when they have to have like intubated, no, they are intubated. I think not all the time, but usually they are intubated. So we think in the different positions of the baby how the tubes have to go. No, you can see that there is a different heights, no, and this is super important for the injuries or
of the problems that can have this type of cables. And also, this is important for the interaction with the nodes because it's about ergonomics, so they can work easily thanks to these shapes. The other important thing in the part of the laterals are that all the cables that usually have the parameters that you can see now, they have a specific axis, a back axis, so they are going all of them in this part. And now what is happening about this is that all the cables are on the top, so this is super. Is a very big problem because sometimes the fluids return to the baby and it's a disaster. Also, it's super important the base of the product because actually the base of the product is not stable, okay? And all the time when the nurse move the baby or interact with the nest is not a usable product. So with the needle, you can move inside the incubator and rotate the product and use and interact with the part what you need in each moment, okay? Also, is an example, the base to the materials. All the product is made with memory foam materials and super disinfectable materials. And it's not only about this part of the product, it's also about the different elements that we were talking about of each needs in the first part of the presentation. So every 4 or 5 hours, the nurse has to change the position of the premature baby. So we have designed also different modules for the supine position, lateral position, and prone position. One of the big challenges was to put the baby in a prone position, because actually we can't put the baby in a prone position, because they need always this flexion and this contention. So we have designed a prone position with a curve that always permits that the baby is going to be in the correct position when it's in prone position, and this is good, for example, for regular and digestion, regulatory system and digestion. So what about the business model? The hospital is going to buy the product from Nido Innova, first option. The hospital is going to buy medical device from a distributor, second option. And the hospital is going to buy the product from the big pharmaceutical like Chiesi or something like this. Okay, so what about the business strategies? Nido is a product, but it's also a service, because it's composed also of fungible parts, no woven parts. Okay, this did allow that there is always a rotation of the product, and this allow to have always a contact with the hospitals and with the personnel that work in the hospital. It's also a scalable product to educational world, so universities, and to home work, so to home work, like Nido Home. And Nido is a medical device, but it's also a platform to create other newborn products, reaching also the pediatric sector. Okay, what's the state? Actually, we are we have validations in different hospitals, but we are validating again the last change of the prototypes in the Sant Joan de Déu, and also actualizing the different things that we have explained before. And we need the i4Kid Innovation Award to go to a legal and regulated product. And this is going the result of this is going to be a launch of the product. Okay. So who is behind the scenes? And during all these years, we have worked with Elisava and Sant Joan de Déu in all the steps of the product. I think this is the result of the product. And also we have worked with different hospitals in Spain and in the rest of Spain and in Barcelona, and different universities and companies that are specialized on this type of products. As a product developer leader, we have Paula Mecchia. As a medical leader, we have Maria José Troyano, that he is working in the Hospital San Joan de Déu. And I'm Eva. I'm the project and business leader. And I ask you that help me to move people, convey emotions, surprise, and go against common thinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. The competitive advantages are very clear. But I would like to know if you have talked, I'm going to do the same question. You have talked about hospitals and the business model B2B, but obviously all these children are very small when they go home, and I don't know if you have thought about to sell also this product to the families or rent this product to the families for a short period of time to use it at home.
Yeah, of course. I think I think Nido is a scalable product, and we have thought on Nido Home. I called it before Nido Home, and in different ways. So you can have Nido Home for babies that are premature and they then go home, no? And so parents are going to buy the product because they just know the product, because the product is in the hospital. And then also we have things in the parents that they have a baby, third baby, and they know the product, or they through marketing or whatever, and it's a security, it's a safe product that has been done in a hospital, and so they are going to buy this product because it's the best product for the baby. Okay, and so yes, we have thought on the home way, and in the presentation, in the slide where I was talking with the steps of the product, there is a small line in the final of the 20 in the start of the 20 on the next year that we will going to start to design Nido Home. So yes.
All right. So, quick question. First of all, thank you for the presentation. It's always great to see a working prototype in this kind of pitches. My question relates to the actual execution in commercialization. Yeah. So, you showed us what is the daily solutions that are implemented in the hospitals. Are there no competitors whatsoever in this arena?
Yes.
Is no one offering this product? And if so, why are they not used in the hospitals that you're working?
Mm-hmm. The first competitors are the nests that actually are in the intensive care units, so the nests that the nurses do it, but that I haven't explained is not optimal product. And the other competitors, one of the most interesting competitors is Philips. Philips have a product for premature babies, but in general, the hospital are not buying this product, one, for the price, and second, because it's not a system. So, all the pieces that were in a unique product are separate, so when you go to lavandry, all the pieces are lost. It's not only about is it a good product for positioning, but it's not result in a good way from the point of view of the design, and from the point of view of how work the nurses in the intensive care, okay? And also, I think the most important thing of Nido, and one of the things I think is super important is we have done the product and the design with the nurse. For the nurses, but with the nurses. I explain? Okay.
Thank you, Eva. Congratulations for the project. I am thinking for, first of all, Nido is the best name that you can use because it's very good. And I don't know if the first moment of the study of the project you use that the thinkings of the families if collaborate with the project in the first moment.
I'm not in the same way, maybe, but I really know that during the time the baby is in the intensive care units, the parents usually are in the intensive care units. And the methodology is to integrate the parents all the time in this process. Yes, we are working also with the parents. In this project, there are not only one user, there are 3 users. There are the parents, there are the nurses, and the prematures. So, yes, the parents are integrated inside the project during all the time.
Perfect. Any last question? Okay, so thank you, Eva, for your presentation. Much. Okay. The next project will bring us happy clouds in the sky to solve a long-standing problem in pediatrics, which is pain management in children. With a long track record in the digital field, this team has decided to approach the problem by placing patients in the center of the solution. So please give a big applause to Xenia Riasol and her project, NEN.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Xenia, and I'm glad to be here presenting NEN today. If it leaves me
if they let you.
No. Okay. So 500,000 kids are fighting cancer globally, and nearly all of them will experience pain. Children receiving cancer treatment are at high risk of medical trauma, induced by fear and anxiety. And also, they create negative pain memories that can affect them, creating greater expectations of pain in the future. For decades, it was assumed that pain was only a sign of physical damage coming from the body, but recent studies have demonstrated that both physical and emotional pain are processed in the same way and both live in the brain. Therefore, novel approaches to modulate and manage pain are required to include the psychological aspects of pain. Now, current traditional assessments are based in adults, are paper-based and very subjective, and kids really struggle to interpret them. Also, there's limited access to pediatric pain psychologists that can help them, and we all know that the ability of a child to communicate pain is very different from that from an adult. Despite the high burden of pediatric pain, very few digital solutions are built specifically for them. So, is that the best we have to offer to our kids? We don't think so, and this is why we founded NEN. We are creating a digital therapeutic solution to address pain management through play, leveraging gamification approaches and cognitive behavioral therapy all together to help them modulate their pain levels and improve their overall well-being and outcomes. NEN is kid-centric care to improve their lives. We are developing a science-based gaming designed for kids from 7 to 12 years old that will deliver the pain therapy through a cognitive behavioral therapy intervention that will be age-appropriate. Similar to a rewards-based strategy, the kid will be playing an engaging game, and this game will pause in order to introduce the therapy. In order to be able to complete playing, which is the funny part, they will need to finalize the therapy. NEN CBT gives the opportunity to treat pain where it lives, which is the brain. And the treatment goals are focused on modifying helpful thoughts and restructure beliefs and emotional reactions tied to this medical stimuli. As a result, we have less pain, kid is more resilient, and we have the reduction of these negative emotions and associated to pain, and also we can reduce the likelihood of having chronic pain after the cancer treatment. by digitally delivering cognitive behavioral therapy, we can scale up to a much greater need than in-person therapy with comparable efficacy. Different outcome sources will be gathered and analyzed to have the effectiveness levels ready, and it will be done by physicians, parents, and the platform itself, via standard and regulated, clinically validated PROs. Parents play an important role in their child's pain management and how they feel about it. They are key influencers, and this is why we have a research collaboration with Sant Joan de Déu in order to co-create with them a range of services also directed to them to help them support their kids. We are not building a wellness app, but rather a regulated, prescribed, and reimbursed therapy. So we have a business model that will evolve as further evidence is generated. From B2C, which will be the first step, launching next year, with a solution that will be directed to parents where there's willingness to pay. Next, we will move to a B2B model with research collaborations with academic and medical centers, while more efficacy and data is generated. Finally, our goal is to arrive to have a standalone prescribed digital therapeutics. And we know that we have other business opportunities that we will explore along the way, like expanding to other indications as chronic pain. We will start with oncology, but we know that CBT can be very helpful with pain in general, other geographies, and, well, you will see more. In terms of milestones, since our recent foundation in February this year, we set the basics for the foundations of the company and prepare everything to be able to start developing in this month the MVP. Next immediate steps will be testing this MVP and the initial clinical validation pilots. In terms of finance, our seed round was formed by self-funds and a standard agreement for future equity. We are now looking for non-dilutive funds in order to support the MVP development and the first pilots next year. And our next raise will be a 10 million Series A to support the platform creation and the randomized clinical trial. We want to do a global multi-center robust clinical trial. NEN's management team has long-standing experience in digital health, and startup acceleration, and also digital innovation. And we are blessed to come with also the support of an amazing clinical advisory board formed by world-renowned experts in pediatric pain. You can see here their faces, some of them are familiar. And a business advisory board formed by investors, innovators, and digital health rainmakers. NEN has been founded to help kids with cancer with pain management, their families and HCPs, with the aim to democratize care wherever these kids are. Help us helping kids rise above their pain. Thank you.
Tania, thanks for the presentation, very inspiring.
Sure.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? You mentioned your first target is going to be children aged 7 to 12.
Yes.
And we earlier this morning learned about virtual reality and other modalities of approaching things similarly. Can you explain a little bit more what would be the experience that you intend to develop for kids, and how are parents involved and maybe healthcare professionals involved in this system?
Yeah. So what we will develop is a game that they will be playing, and then the therapy will be embedded, like, you know, you are very familiar with YouTube and other kind of games. You have like a commercial break, and then an ad comes in. In our case, it won't be an app, it will be the therapy, and they will need to fulfill the therapy to be able to continue playing. The idea is that this will be something for the kids. It is true that, as I mentioned, parents have an important role. Also, they will be responsible of reporting the outcomes and how everything is going. So they will have a separate space for them in order to have all the information necessary and support their children accordingly. In terms of other types of technologies, VR, we also explored other things and other technologies, but we discarded them. VR basically because it's too big for them sometimes. These kids have, because of the chemo, have nausea sometimes, and this is something we don't really want to address. We want to be something that will be very easy as a software. The idea is to have inpatient, we will deliver the technology, but after they leave the hospital, they can have it at home easily through their devices. So the idea is that one. And in case of the physicians, you mentioned as well, in the clinical phase and when we are doing the clinical trials, yes, they will be very involved, but it will not be connected to any system with physicians. The idea is the assessment is done before physicians know how to treat patients. Pain is assumed in all cancer patients, and all patients can benefit from CBT. So we enter in the therapy phase with a full product for them, only for them.
Okay, so just for clarity,
Yeah.
it's a very long answer.
Sure.
So bring your own device, or are you providing the devices? Inpatient?
For the clinical phase, we will provide devices. Inpatient hospital patients, they will have the device provided by us. Afterwards, when they are at home, they can use their own device.
Great. And both inpatient and outpatient, correct?
Inpatient, yes, but the ones in the hospital, they will have the device. Afterwards, at home, they will use their own.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Chania, thanks. Great pitch. I would like to know a little bit more about your regulatory strategy, especially becoming digital health therapeutic. And in Spain, the regulation, unfortunately, is not yet there. So which geographies are you targeting first? And how does that link with your B2C first approach? Are you planning to go B2C when regulate, like when the regulatory is not yet done in the process? Maybe you can clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, that's correct. So we initially are going to launch in English and Spanish, so it will be Spain, UK, and the US. B2C for the US, it will probably be the model for them because there's no regulation. In the case of Europe, we will try to proceed and have the regulation country by country, because unfortunately, as you mentioned, there's no unified law in that sense. Some of them are more advanced, like Germany with DIGO. And in the cases that we don't arrive to get it, meanwhile, we will have the B2C, and also introduce it through the research collaborations, B2B, through the hospitals. So we will adapt the strategy depending on the country and the current situation there, and also based in our own efficacy and the first pilots. So we will be adapting the business model. This is why I said that it's evolving through the way.
Thanks.
Any other question? Okay, so thank you for your
You're
presentation.
welcome.
Okay. The next project. The next project takes its origin in a personal history. Actually, if you look carefully at the job description of the team, you will find the following: CEO, co-founder, and uncle. And this is quite an statement. So as you will see, the following project proposes to go one step further in children's health and mobility. So please join us for a walk with Benjamin and his project, RuWalk.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. For sure, I'm an uncle. We'll come back to this. First of all, make a guess. We're talking about children the whole day. How many hours per day are children active during their life? It's approximately 7 hours of pure energy being active and just walking around, moving around just for the fun of it. And if you're born with a disability called cerebral palsy, you likely get 1 hour per day. And there's a huge gap. Cerebral palsy is the most common cause of motor impairments during childhood, and this is usually caused by lowered oxygen levels during birth. And as this is the most common cause, it's 2 out of 1,000 children globally, and due to this lack of 6 hours activity per day, 50% of these children will stay in a wheelchair completely from the age of 15 onwards. So this made me feel, okay, I need to put my niece up on her feet, been walking, walking is living. So what's actually the challenge? She was born, she was not able to walk and stand by herself. What she get is a frame of metal, 4 wheels underneath. She's kind of skating along. So this is really not creating independence. Even a small doorstep is an obstacle for her. And hey, we're in the 21st century, autonomous driving is around, and these kids are not able to walk over grassland, cobblestone lowered curbs. This was insane to me. And think about inclusion. They go to physiotherapy, others go to the playground with their peers. And think about the last time you went to the gym. It's not very motivating to do repetitive gait training. As kids, this doesn't work. So all of this leads to preventable damages if you move more per day. It's kind of the weakening of the muscles, the bones, the hip deformities, and the overall posture that leads to long-term damages that we can avoid. So what if there's a solution like parents always around, lifting these kids from behind enabling them to move around and explore. But usually parents, after 30 minutes, they get back pain, put them back into the wheelchair. So we built a product that simulates how parents and caregivers are lifting these kids and moving them along wherever they want to be, indoor and outdoor. We've developed this together with physiotherapists and children. We filed our patent European-wide, and the child just uses its entire body to steer the device with them. It's using the Segway principle in that case. So we got approval with our first proof of concept prototype. We've achieved more than 10,000 steps indoor and outdoor with several children of several severities of disability. And the parents, you would see them smile for the first time, your child being outside on grass, walking by themselves. So this was really motivating for me. So we got this approval from the different stakeholders within this environment. And usually what parents ask is, okay, can we take this home now? And I have to say, okay, there's one more thing. We need to solve CE certification for this device to be in the market. We had this idea beginning of 2021, built our proof of concept prototypes, and we're currently preparing CE certification. And after that, we're able to get reimbursement once clinical studies are in place. So once CE certification is in place, then the self-payers, so the parents, will buy these devices because all of us, we want the best for our children. It's the rehabilitation centers that would like to offer new physiotherapy sessions, for example, indoor, outdoor, with other groups and peers. And finally, after these clinical studies, reimbursement of the health insurance company will be in place. And with this, we'll be able to serve 17 million people worldwide living with cerebral palsy, for sure, not all in the developed world. Currently, we're focusing on Germany as the biggest market in Europe, as well as, after FDA approval, go to the US, where the prevalence is even higher with 3 out of 1,000 children born with cerebral palsy. So our mission is to let these children shine and walk as everyone else, but it doesn't stop here. Think about stroke rehabilitation. It could be you, it could be me, and also in an aging society, we all get older, we all need gait support. So it was me, 6 years ago, where my niece was shown, so this is where the uncle hook line was. Partnered up with electrical engineers. I put my PhD in engineering, 10 years in aviation, so I thought, okay, I need to do something about it. Partnered up with the Charité, Kinderspital Zürich in Switzerland, and other commercial partners. And currently we're looking out for you to support this in our pre-seed funding round with around 400k euro to do the product development to reach CE certification. And with this, I'd like to thank you all for listening. I hope you all will rise, empower others. And we're not changing the work, but the trajectory of these individual children, and this means a whole universe to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Benjamin, for the presentation and for the project. I have some questions. First of all, about the competitive landscape, if you know about other projects in the market doing similar things or developing similar things. And I also would like more about the growth of your project with the growth of the children. And you have talked about you are going to develop products also for adults, but which are your plans? Because the children that you are going to treat, they are going to become adults in the future, and obviously they want to continue with your services. And the last one is related with the reimbursement. If you can share with us more information about the reimbursement of your product. Obviously, every country is different, but in order to impact as much as you can with the children in different countries. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I take it without slides. So the first one is competition. Currently what's out there, and there's many companies providing more or less the same, this is these metal frames with wheels underneath. They work on flat ground. And you have different ones where you kind of rollator-wise, where you still need the hands, so this is also not suitable for children in most cases, or they're very bulky and heavy, so it's really hard, for example, for children to approach another child or a dog, they will run away. So there's, I think, 6 big players, European and globally, that serve these competitors. And there's another way of competition that is not directly there. It's robotic gait training in rehabilitation centers. Like this is Locomat is a world known for stroke rehabilitation. It's a robotic gait trainer, kind of exoskeleton put on a walking band. And this is just in some very specialized centers available for children. So it's not suitable to put this gait training into day-to-day activities at home. If you're lucky to live nearby, then you get twice a week these rehabilitation or these physiotherapy. So maybe this covers competition. The second one, is this device growing with the children? Yes, you can think of any bicycle where you can adapt the height of the saddle plus the user harness. This is in a certain range be able. We currently plan for 2 versions, one for the very small, up to 4 years, and the second one 4 to 15 years. And the last question, for sure they will walk over their whole life. Currently we're focusing on children because of neuroplasticity. So in the age below 15, you have the most potential to gain actually the walking abilities, and ideally having RuWalk in place from year 1 on, you will be able to use a normal rollator later on during their life. So this was covering the growing with it. And then the reimbursement. For sure, we're currently developing this for the German healthcare system as the biggest market. So there's one route going to the medical assistive devices catalog of the governmental health insurance company. It's the GKV Hilfsmittelverzeichnis in Germany. So there are certain regulatory bodies that you have to convince. So, but you can really start after CE certification to do studies to get reimbursement. As this device is far more expensive than a kind of wheel, metal frame plus wheels, you really need to prove the medical benefits in terms of walking abilities, general posture, less back pain, and long-term issues that you reduce. And this is not done within 1.5 years. You really need to focus on first small clinical endpoints that you can reach maybe in 3 to 6 months, and then long-term studies, as for example in Scandinavian regions, they have done long-term studies with people with cerebral palsy. Yeah, I hope this all covered.
Hey, I also have another question. It's related to the question that just Esther posted. I'm comparing this a little bit to exoskeletons, right? And exoskeletons, of course, are first thought for rehabilitation clinics and inpatient clinics, but slowly, or at least they aim to, being used in a longer future, because that's not straightforward, at home. Now, they have several problems on usability in terms of the person not being able to be in this device for longer time and being heavy and so on. So how does that relate to your product? Have you done some usability studies? How long can children be using the device? Which are the challenges that you encountered? Maybe you can explain us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely right. So our device compared to an exoskeleton, there's actually 3 parameters that need to be considered. First is what you mentioned, usability. It usually takes up to 10, maybe to 15 minutes to put a child into an exoskeleton, and then, okay, now walk. Then the children isn't having fun anymore, and then you need, again, 10 or 50 minutes to put the child out. Our device is more or less like putting up your backpack or put on to a scroller, like closing wheels. So this is less than 1 minute of in and out of the device. So usability is an issue. Second is price. An exoskeleton is around 100,000 euro. Our device will be in the range of an electrical wheelchair between 20 and 30,000 K. So there's a clear gap to that. And the third, exoskeleton work good for people that have already the walking abilities, kind of posture, and can align to it. With children with cerebral palsy, they need to develop these senses. And for exoskeleton with children, there's always a parent or caregiver behind and holding to allow them not to fall over. So this is also not creating this independence that we think utilizing the intrinsic motivation of children to explore will serve. Yeah.
Any other question? So thanks, Benjamin, for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I hope that you are not tired, because the last presentation is about paying attention. Attention deficit and hyperactivity disorders in children are a big problem when it comes to educational and mental health. And this is exactly what the next project intends to solve. So please give a big applause to Teresa Rossignoli and her project Stop2Go.
Thank you. Fernando. Good evening. My name is Teresa Rossignoli. I'm PhD in psychology and researcher, but previously I worked several years with patients with attentional deficit and hyperactivity disorder, where all these projects began. I'm going to present Stop2Go, the first digital platform directed to these kids. But first of all, let's start with a real story. Here you can see Jorge. Jorge is a student with attentional difficulties, especially in class. Whatever the class may do in half an hour, for him it takes at least double of time. This is because of lack of concentration and also because of impulsiveness. He tends to interrupt, stand up several times, and this also causes him problems at home and social problems. At home, his parent has to help him every single day to do his homework, which is time-consuming. Well, you probably know some kids like Jorge because ADHD is the most psychopathology in childhood, according to the American Psychiatry Association. We have estimated that only in Spain there are on average 360,000 kids with this condition between 7 and 16 years old. Well, what happened with kids like Jorge? Well, the public health system and educational system provides care support. He goes to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes him some pills to treat this condition that's causing him some secondary effects, such as loss of weight, lack of sleep, and also because of the lack of educational response at school, he needs to attend to private therapy, which is time-consuming, like twice per week at least. Also, it is expensive, like 300 euros per month. And also, the quality varies between different instructors, and it has a difficulty to generalize training in daily life. So to overcome all this, as I mentioned before, I worked several years in private therapy. We have developed Stop2Go, the first detention and intervention tool for these kids. So first of all, we have to ask ourselves if the student or the child really needs the therapy, okay? If there is a risk of having this condition. For this, we have developed a screening test available in our website that in a couple of minutes, doing an attention and executive function task, can detect a risk of having this disorder, comparing with other peers. We are doing the norm-based study. And also, it includes a short questionnaire for parents and teachers to get to know this behavior in daily life. Also, if this is the case, we provide an intervention protocol. You can see also an image on the bottom of our MVP, which is already developed. So it's an intervention protocol. Stop2Go are not simple games, but an intervention protocol. So you can see there's like a path. So the user has to do different exercises weekly during a couple of months. It requires a minimal level of success to continue. Also involves some gamification, which is important for kids. So the kid is going to do attentional, self-control, working memory, cognitive flexibility tasks, the main aspects affected in this disorder, and processing speed, but all mediated with the strategies to apply in daily life. This is the only tool in which an avatar provides strategies to the user according to his level of performance. And this is thanks to a pre-designed decision tree. And at the end, we also provide a follow-up to see if the child has improved. Well, but this is something serious. We count with research and development support. Before to create this tool, we have reviewed the state of the art and published an article, and we have seen that most digital cognitive training commercially available for kids are not tested. And those who are have limited transfer effect in daily life and short-term effect. And this is because they do not provide strategies to apply in daily life. They're simple games, okay? We also have tested our pilot version in a school-age student, and we have seen positive results. In third graded, they reduce attention and executive function difficulties compared to placebo and control group and even a follow-up. And we have also studied the strategies applied to see that they were especially needed or demanded for those who really need it, okay? Well, let me tell you a little bit about our road. We have already received our award in January from EduPlat platform. We have offered our screening to different schools. Till date, we have 500 test applications. Staff2Go, the intervention app for iOS and Android, will be launched next month. We're going to participate in fairs, so families can get to know us. We have more than 300 subscribers to our website to be updated about Staff2Go. We'll also offer for free our screening to hospital and clinics so they can get to know us and also get to know the intervention protocol. And we also have some plans for digital marketing next year. Our business model is a B2B model and B2C model through test application and license. Keep in mind that traditional intervention costs around 300 euros per month, and here we're talking about 30 euros per month with no commuting, no instructor needed, and in a really motivating way. We have, well, here you can see also our estimation of our revenue forecast for the next 3 years. We have using data of our percentage marketing objective, sorry. Who are our stakeholders? So schools, child psychology centers and hospitals, individuals, their families. They have kids with ADHD disorder, therapists, psychologists, and educators. We are now looking for funding to continue with our objectives and partner for distribution and marketing. So we really encourage you to invest in the future of the most demanding psychological therapy. Well, finally, who we are. I already present myself at the beginning. I'm the project leader. Let me introduce you Fernando López-Lorrio and Rafael Yáñez, both senior computer engineers from Genetic Eye, and also Genetic Eye team. And also we come with collaborators from neuroscience field, from the university, such as Elena Pérez Hernández, and from the clinic, such as Marta Ortega Rincón. Thank you for your attention, and please do not hesitate to contact with us for further information or visit our website.
Thanks for the presentation. Really glad to see this happening next door. There's a few competitors that are out there that are already validated as medical devices in the US and in a couple of other countries. How is this different?
Yeah, I guess you are talking about Endeavor in the USA.
Yeah, Akili Health.
Yeah. Also,
and
yeah. Well,
solutions?
the main difference with them is they do not apply the strategies. So we have developed metacognitive strategies for self-control, for instruction comprehension, that they are applied during the whole training. So depending the level of performance of the user, the number of errors, when, and the type, the avatar is going to provide a specific strategies on the screen to the user. So they can learn and transfer this training in daily life. And not just game repetition, but what is called in the scientific literature strategy-based training, rather than just gaming.
Cool. So there's two things that really caught my eye here. The first one was the risk assessment right before you start the program, which is not a diagnostic. I just want to get that clear. Not a diagnostic.
Not a diagnostic. It's only to detect a risk, comparing with peers. So we are doing the norm-based data, comparing with sex and the same gender, to see if, it's the standard deviation and so on is background.
Okay, but the actual intention of the program is therapeutic.
Yeah, well, the idea, I know that digital therapeutics is like the future of all this field, but I think we have already validated with our pilot version and with other published articles, and still we continue in progress with some other studies. But here in Spain, it's a little bit complicated to become like a digital therapeutic until now because of the regulation. But it doesn't mean that you can use this as a treatment, educational treatment for these kids, and also they can be applied at school and hospital to detect a possibility and to treat them, not as a medical treatment, but a psychological and educational treatment.
Right. Well, that's fundamental because, if the intention is to actually treat, then you are a medical device. If you're not, then you're a wellness application, and it's a fundamental difference in going to market. So. That's why the clarification was needed. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Teresa, for the presentation. This project is very good that we have a lot of application of mobile, etc. But it's very difficult why this application is very good to use. And the question is possible that this application is from the doctors send the information to the families or to the people that need? Because it's very difficult to share if you need this application or not.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as one of our stakeholders are families with kids with ADHD, they go to the pediatric services, so they can also recommend or suggest this type of application to train. And also, well, I think it's important for medical and doctors to know this type of application that are scientifically validated, are not just simple games, but are designed from neuroscientists. So it is something that traditionally have been done every single day, like recommending different resources, sorry. So this is one resource to their families. But the main aspect is motivating because also reduces a lot of costs, as we have mentioned before, because it's digital, it is motivating, and also it applies strategies, which is important. So not all the families can pay traditional private therapy. So this could be also a way to overcome this difficulty as well.
Thanks. I was wondering about your target population. Is this defined for kids in a certain range? Do the exercises change as the kid grows older? How have you structured that?
Okay, thank you for the question, because I haven't said it. We have a first version for kids between 7 and 12 years old. It is the version that you have seen on the screen. And we have another version from 13 years and up, because the level of difficulty is different according to the number of distractors and a lot of things that I cannot explain all of this here, but there are different levels of difficulty, and we have created 2 versions. And also, because of the gamification, and also because of the style of the app, it varies depending to the age. So we have 2 versions, but we have only developed the first one.
Okay. Maybe a follow-up question. Do you also track the progress of the kid through the app? Do you run these diagnostics or screening, even if it's not a real diagnostic, across several times of the game to see how they are improving?
Yeah. We offer people to do first the screening and then the follow-up at the end, but we have also gathered information in the app, which is highly protected. Let's say that we cannot see that information, but families can do it, can see that information, so they can go into see, how the child is performing during the whole training session. It is a protocol, so they can see during the whole session. It's an average of failures and errors and so on that are all gathered in the app, and the families can see that information. We cannot see that information with numbers and so on, but families can. And this is also something that can be recommended from schools, from clinics, not only from hospital. So there are different stakeholders. So all of them can, if they are users from the app, they can see all that data.
Any other question? Okay, so thanks a lot, Teresa.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the end of the innovation contest for this edition. So we want to thank a lot first to the participants. We know that you have worked a lot with very tight times. Some of you come from abroad. Some of you have very important people waiting at home. So I want to thank you and congratulations for the great work. Now I will take the jury to the thinking room, and meanwhile I will leave you with Sofia, who will guide you through some important announcements that we have today. So thank you for paying attention, and see you later.